Purple potty for the win. Well, good morning and welcome to the vlog. It is a long weekend here in Canada. It is a civic holiday. I think it is actually called Colonel By Day, but don't quote me on that. Gonna go for a bit of a noodle with Linda. We've been out the last couple of days crushing it in the Gatineau Park. So doing some major climbs. Legs are a little tender. So plan of action today is to do a flattish ride. I want to show you one little grippy hill once we get out there. There's not many above 10% climbs here in Ottawa, but there is one that we're going to see today. I will show it to you. I think at one point it gets to 12%. Not super long. Again, Ottawa is pretty flat. But there's something else I want to talk to you today about, and that is SRAM Red. SRAM Red. It is the bane of my existence right now. So I'll get into the specifics of it in a moment or two. It really boils down to this bad boy, the right-hand shifter. It's really quite hard to complain about the weather this weekend so far. It's just been spectacular. Glorious day in the nation's capital. It's probably 17, 18 degrees. Yeah. So,
or 110 underneath my vest.
Yeah. So Linda's dressed for a late fall ride.
It's tricky. You just never know when you leave the house.
It's good to have some kit. You know, not everyone feels the cold the same way. And Linda feels the cold.
More than most.
Yeah.
Sensitive.
So it's good to have some pieces of kit that you can take off, pack them away as the temperature starts to rise, as your core temperature starts to rise as well. So we are on the, from a geographical standpoint, it is pretty flat. We are on the Sir George Etienne Cartier Parkway. I used to think it was called the Aviation Parkway. That is incorrect, dumbass. The Aviation Parkway is...
that busyness over there.
Over there. We're not on that. We're on George's Parkway. And we're gonna noodle along here for a little bit. This parkway is very popular for time trials and triathletes because it is basically pan flat. So we're gonna noodle along here for a little bit, and then we're gonna veer to the right. I'm gonna show you the old 12%er, and we're gonna go up it. Yay! Let's do it. So we have a couple of parkways in and around the Ottawa area. This is one, as I mentioned, Sir George Etienne Cartier Parkway. There's another one. We don't ride very often. When I commute into work, I do bike alongside it. That is called the Sir John A. Macdonald Parkway.
Nope. Cancel that.
Cancel that. But I wish I could tell you what it was renamed to.
The Kitigan or something.
Kitigan Zippy Parkway. So, I don't know if you follow much Canadian news, but I won't get into it.
I didn't hear that, but we should know that. We'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out. But it's no longer called the Sir John A. Macdonald Parkway. It is a little bit lumpier than this one, just overpasses and stuff like that, but it's shorter. But we're pretty thankful that we live in a city. In the summer months, they shut these roads down and open it to pedestrians, rollerbladers, cyclists, strollers, strokers. I know we're not alone in that. Linda and I have been to cities around the world that also do the same thing. I remember being quite amazed in Manhattan. Park Avenue on a Sunday was closed. Not all of it, but a good stretch of it. Downtown Manhattan on a Sunday. It was awesome. Linda made it.
I made it. Yeah. It's tough.
Hey, tough?
Tough. It's tough.
It's just that one section at 12%.
It's all of it. Don't let him tell you that. It's all of it. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's one section at 12%, and then it looks like it's going to flatten out, but it doesn't. It just drops down to 9, and you just keep going.
Yeah.
And here we are together.
Now the worst part.
I saw you come around at 9:34, and I came around at 9:35, almost 9:36. So I'm not too far behind you, and I'm happy about that.
I was filming, so that obviously slows me down.
Never Linda for the win.
No. Yeah. If I wasn't filming, I would have crushed it.
Oh,
Big ring it, baby.
He'd be up here for 20 minutes, having a nap.
All right, now the sketchy part. Let's go down it.
Let's go downhill.
I hate this bit.
It's just all the cars.
That's the road condition.
Oh yeah, and it's a bumpy road, yeah.
Okay, so real quick, why has this SRAM Red, more specifically the right-hand shifter, caused me so much grief recently? I've talked about this over the last few vlogs. This is my first go-around with SRAM Red. I did have a SRAM Grupo years ago. It was mechanical, and it was back in the day when you shifted once and you shifted twice to either go up or down the stack. If you're new to SRAM Red or Force or any of the other electronic Grupos from SRAM, you will know that when you shift from the right-hand shifter, it moves the chain down the stack. If you use the actuator on the left-hand shifter, that moves the chain up the stack. And then to move the chain from the front derailleur up or down, small ring, big ring, you push them both together. It's a pretty neat system. Now I come from the world of Shimano. I had Dura-Ace Di2 on most of my bikes. And the way that the Shimano system works, again, I apologize if you already know this, but there's two actuators on the right-hand shifter, and that moves, depending on which one you push, the chain either up the stack or down the stack, but it all happens on the right-hand shifter. Also, the battery for a Di2 system typically sits in the seat post versus SRAM, which have 4 batteries, one on the front derailleur, one on the rear derailleur, and then 2 coin cell batteries, 2032 CRs or CR 2032s, which reside very nicely in the hoods. Now to the problem. This bad boy, my right-hand shifter, there seems to be a current draw which is stripping the life of the battery far quicker or far sooner than it should. The advertised lifespan of the CR 2032 battery in here from SRAM is 2 years, which means it uses milliamps of current. It should not be lasting 3 weeks. Initially, I thought that the problem was I was using crappy China Inc. CR 2032s, non-branded. So I threw those out, recycled. I put in some other ones. That doesn't really seem to have fixed the problem. So then I spent a little bit more and I got some Energizer ones. I put those in and those seem to be holding okay, but I've just put them in. I've used them for 1 day. So we're gonna see what those are like. Again, I think ultimately all of the batteries come from the same factory in China. They're all 3 volt and they're all made in China. So one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this today is I checked the battery life, as I do now because I'm paranoid, before a ride. The night before a ride this week, I checked the battery life to see if everything was thumbs up, tickety-boo, and it was the night before. So I didn't think I'd need to check in the morning because I haven't used the bike, so there shouldn't be any current draw from any of the batteries. Went for a ride halfway to the Gatineau Park with Linda, and then I realized that right-hand shifter was no longer shifting. Came back home, changed the batteries. Like I said, I've put branded CR 2032s in here now. And I also went to my local bike shop. Shout out to Fat Moose, just around the corner from where I live. And they've launched a ticket with SRAM, maybe a warranty claim. My name, my problem are in the system. Hopefully we can get this resolved. Whether it means a new shifter or getting this one fixed, I'm not too sure. I don't know how you debug the problem. I don't know if you can probe the circuit in here to see if there's a fault with the transmitter or with something that's pulling current from the battery. I'm not too sure. Or maybe they'll send me a new shifter. So the other neat thing about SRAM is, and I think Shimano have this as well, is they have a GUI, they have an app you can pull up on your cell phone. It looks a little bit like this. It doesn't help me with my battery problem. It just tells me that my battery is dead. Like I shouldn't have to go from 100% good battery the night before to 20% usage the next day when I haven't used the bike. Let me know if anyone out there has SRAM, if anyone out there has had issues with battery life, more specifically on the batteries that reside in the hood. Not so much about the batteries on the front and rear derailleur. So far, those seem to be okay. Okay, guys, that's a wrap. I have to apologize right off the top that I'm not too sure what happened to the footage, but we did go up that 12%er. My camera seemed to have decided that it was far too steep and didn't want to record. So I will capture that for you again next week. I promise. I promise we did it. Really, we did. And I will also keep you updated as to whether or not I can get that right-hand shifter fixed. It's super annoying, and I shouldn't have to continuously have to check the battery status before every ride. Shimano would never do that to me. We will regroup next week. Please click the like, comment, or subscribe button. It really helps the channel. Have a great week. I'll see you next week. Take care.